Yo, 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 y'all already know what time it is. It's time to get live with the LuxLife real estate coach, Latasha McDowell. We already know you got DJ Big Dog here, present and accounted for, as well as my man Captain Capo Grimm in the building and her special guest. Why don't you go ahead and introduce this wonderful man to the presence of your studios, Tasha?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Latasha McDowell, your real estate coach here in Tallahassee, Florida. This evening, I am graced with the presence of many great men on many different levels. So, this evening, a face that you all are unfamiliar with is Mr. Jimenez. Mr. Jimenez, I simply adore him, and here's why. Because he is an innovator. Not only is he an entrepreneur, a father, and a man of culture, and well traveled. He believes in reaching back and taking care of his fellow man. And I'll have him explain exactly that aspect, as well as he's a great businessman as well. So, thank you for sharing your time and your space with us. You know how I feel about time. It's a valuable product that you cannot get back. And I thank you for giving us a piece of your time this evening. Can you hear us, Ivory? Well, we can't hear you. Oh. Do you want to try logging out, logging back in?
You hear me now?
I can hear you now. Okay, yes.
All right, so I can barely hear you guys, but what I will say is this. I do, thanks for the intro. It's a pleasure meeting all of you. What I like to do is I decided to get involved in real estate, stuff like that, but I do, like you said, reach back. Self-taught for the most part. Anything I can learn, I try to learn and I try to teach. So I'm a small minority-owned business, and I try to help small minority-owned business, and so on and so forth. So I've been doing this for about 4 years total. Do you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Everything froze up. And it's what I enjoy. I'm about to retire fully from where I'm at in about two and a half to 3 more years, and just go full time in real estate and other things as well as apps and stuff like that. That's where I'm at.
So, as far as real estate, can you tell us exactly why you got into real estate and what was the purpose? Well, we all know for the purpose of generating revenue. They're not making any more land. But Mr. Jimenez owns several residential properties, and he has them in particular neighborhoods. And tell us why.
Well, I like to serve. I'm a minority, and I like to serve the minority. I feel they're one of the most undervalued and whatever you want to say neighborhoods that there is, and I just try to give a fair looking place to live or a fair price. Try not to go crazy because your target market is us. So if you're gonna keep with us, if I want to go just high rollers and stuff like that, yeah, you invest this, that, and other, but you're not serving the community. So if you're not serving the community, what's the point? So that was my focus, and the reason I got started was I don't know if you guys. I go back a little ways. I'm about to turn 48, so
I'm 46.
I don't know if you guys ever remember. A long time ago, there used to be a guy on TV called Carlton Sheets with the no money down method. You guys remember that? Big Sheet bugged out people. Oh, I got the CDs. Older Caucasian guy, and I always said, I'm tired of working for somebody. I don't want to work for somebody because no matter what you come up with, they'll give you a little bonus here and there, but you could have did better on your own, right?
Right.
Sometimes you could have did better on your own, even if everyone here's worked for somebody. So if you lost at first and then you learn, you either win or you learn, like they say. So I got tired. I'm still getting tired of working for someone, even though I enjoy the job I have, but it is a job, right?
Right.
So it's hard to save someone 10 million and they cut you a check as an honorary member and parade you like a genius, and you're holding a $1,200 check. You saved them 10 million. How does that feel inside? Think about that. You saved them 10 million, they give you $1,200, and I'm going to parade you around like, hey, hi, thank you. Right, Mr. McDowell?
What's up, bro?
You know it's about working for a utility.
I have
So
all of my favorite men with me this evening. My number one favorite.
I didn't get to meet him when I was down there though.
Oh, he was working.
I'll be back down.
Working
My granddaughter's due soon.
this month,
No, October 1st.
October. Shit, I know you're coming back for then, right? Sorry, y'all. We got complete. Sorry,
Yeah,
got complete.
I don't want to get all into politics, so I'm really not into vaccinations, but I got them because I got granddaughter coming and see her. I'll be around her. I don't know who else I'm gonna be around, all that good stuff. So if it hits me, hopefully it don't hit me as bad. Because y'all Floridians are going a little overboard, man. We seeing y'all on the news.
Non-mask wearing people, and
They're everywhere.
it's very, 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 very frustrating. But husband, so you came in while Mr. Jimenez was telling us about his basic purpose that he purchased in certain neighborhoods to offer affordable housing to minorities, um, which is, one of our things, charitable things that we like to give back. And the reason, let me say this, the reason why I have all of you all together, I have a reason for it. Um, because you all are all entrepreneurs at different stages in life, right? And different stages in your walk in being successful. So you know, those of us who are a little more long in the tooth can always give a different perspective for those who are just starting to scratch the surface. So that's the whole purpose of our round table that we're having, or square table. So that hopefully that makes sense as to why I've put these different pieces of meat in this gumbo.
Everybody don't eat gumbo.
You you know what I mean. You got to be the one, right? Got to be the one. Got to be the one. So again, I'm just going. I said I'm gonna have to pull it out of Ivory. So I do know that you help um, get people on the right path whom may have been bruised by life. So can you tell us, like, why did you feel such a need to get involved in helping others in that capacity? Are we having some time to? Can you hear me now, Ivory?
I'm gonna go with a no.
I'm gonna go with a no too. So, Keith, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yeah, okay. So we'll do better in the future with our sound checks. This is kind of,
You hear me?
yeah, yeah. I can hear you now.
Okay, I can't hear you guys yet.
Okay, so let me see if I can talk a little louder. What I said was, I said, can you tell us a little bit about why helping those who had a rough patch in life? Why do you feel? Why did you go out and you help those people? Like, what motivates you to do that? To help give people a second chance, per se, or show them the path.
So, showing them the path. All right. Um, make it simple and plain. Growing up, when I grew up, like I said, I'm 48, so I grew up during heavy epidemics in the streets of New York. And my family's very mixed. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm very blended. My family comes in all shapes, creeds, colors. And when we come around, you don't know which one is, unless you know us, you don't know who's our family. So when I put up a family picture on my Facebook, you'll be like, wow, we hit the whole spectrum. So I saw a lot. So for minority back then to get ahead, sadly, the only way was the street. So a lot of those people came out, and the streets that they ran, I mean ran, uh, they can't even afford to live there. No. Not that they were doing the best thing or whatever, but there was no other outlet for them, right? So if there's no other outlet for you, and you see your whole family and they don't got, we talking about family growing up, public housing, all that stuff, and they don't have. What do you think they're gonna do? Just sit there and not have? No, they want to move forward like everybody else, right? Like the
Right.
Kennedys and all that, bootleg and all that. So everybody goes through that. As minorities, we will go through it. But my point was that when some of them came out, they had nothing, and a lot of them were people that they had their. You can look them up on the internet. A lot of the people that I know. So I helped them try to understand how to get a home, how to move beyond just getting one home. How maybe if their credit's right and they got enough cash, instead of getting one home, just go ahead and go commercial, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's helping them get their credit right. That's helping them learn how to fill out an application. Things from the ground up. Some people you start from the ground up because they don't comprehend certain levels. But to gauge what's what, you start from the ground up. And you help them from day one. You know what I mean? Listen. I know who you were back then, but that was back then, as they say, right? And
Right.
now the new dawn, new age, all that stuff. And these guys are like 60 years old now. But when you see them back in the day, a different person with them. Somebody you maybe not want to look at or be around, might be scared. So with that said, you help them move forward like everybody else around you should move forward, right? So as I'm an independent, I don't know if you guys are independent, right? And you got to take down a conglomerate, right? Because in my neighborhood, there was a lot of gangs. We didn't have it. Had a lot of friends, and I noticed that method worked. So whenever they had a problem with people that were affiliated with that, we used to get together, and there was like 500 of us, 3 to 500 of us. So no matter what the number was, we always hung out, had a good time, played basketball, was all into sports. Take that same method and apply it. So if you're going against a big real estate firm and you're into real estate, whatever you're into, it doesn't matter, whatever business you're into, and you want to take them down, and you don't have the funding or whatever, when you get together as a group just to take down that one deal, because that's what they do. They don't pull out all the money out of their pockets, right?
Right.
So they take down that one deal together, and then you share the wealth. You start paying back or whatever it is. Simple method. You can apply it in anything. So that's the thought process of what I try to do. So I used to be the brokest person in my crowd, right? So that's a good place to be. If you're around people that got money, you want to be the brokest person there, right? Because that means you're doing good. So if you hanging around billionaires, if you hang around 5 billionaires, and you're just a millionaire, and you're just sadly, I'm only worth 500 million. They're worth billions. You're not doing too bad, are you? So whenever you hang around a group, usually there's a method. I forgot what it's called, but you want to be the person that has the least amount of money. Unfortunately, now since you give back, you hang around certain people, you got to help them out, set them up. So hopefully one day they get to you or they surpass you. I don't have a problem with people surpass you. That's your thing. You do it better than me. I wish you well.
And that mentality I've also noticed with Capo Graham, aka Rod. He invests in Soda Stedman, which is a common denominator. They invest in the people around them. They look for those whom have talents and help them uh, become polished, and they add that pressure, right, to make them better, to pull it out of them. Now, Captain Capo Grimm. I can't. That's just too much for
You
me.
can just say
Rod.
capo, you can say cap, you can say, it's how you want to do it. I did
Okay.
want to ask a question though, like
Okay.
with you were just saying like trying to put a team together and actually like come at the big entities or whatever and just a conglomerate. Like, what are some of the hurdles you had to, I guess, deal with real estate and trying to put that team together? I don't think you heard me. Did you hear me?
He
Okay.
said, "What? Can you hear me?" He said, "What hurdles did you have in putting together your team or the people that you knew to take down a large conglomerate? Like, how did you go about doing that?"
The biggest hurdle is getting people focused that are used to working as one or two people to look at a pool of people, to look at something bigger than themselves, right? Because these people are used to talking to one or two people That's it. And those are mostly people that work for them and the things that they were in back then, like I say all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So getting them together to all focus on the bigger picture, that's tough. It's tough because there's building that trust is hard. So that the easiest thing is if you could show them on paper, look, this is best and worst case. You have nothing now. What do you want to do? Once
Okay.
they realize the bigger picture of right now I have nothing. So if I only have 50% of that, it's not too bad, right? So getting them focused on the monetary, because the monetary cues people from, like I said, things that they did back then. Once they see how much money comes in on it, it comes in trickles and then it just comes, right? Like the dam just gives. And now it's like, oh wow, this ain't just a little side hustle. Like, people try to diminish you when you pull to the right or left, like you can have your 9 to 5 while you're still trying to get your thing, right? So when you pull to the right or left, people, how's your little job going? And there's a guy on TikTok that I love what he says. What do you mean my little job? How does it feel asking your boss if you got a day off? He's right. Guy's 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. It's nice to have a connect with something that if you need it is bigger and you can pull from it. But when you deal with bigger companies, sometimes they don't really want you to get big, or they want you to get big, but there's a limit. There's a glass ceiling. You don't know what it is. It's not
Yeah.
designed to show you what that ceiling is. So no matter who you get with, you can get with Grant Cardone, whoever you want. I don't want to name his name on your show, but you get with whoever you want. There's always a glass ceiling. You ain't gonna be bigger than somebody whose name is on the door. It's not gonna happen. So, and that when you show the monetary to them and where it could be, and you show them, like mild success, moderate success, where it could be, and you let them figure it out. So once they see it start coming in, they look at things different. Now they want to fix their vocabulary. Now they're like, or like they used to be, yo, my man, this they don't talk like that anymore. Yes, how you doing? Da, da, da. We speak to each other on a last name basis now. So it's weird getting used to that. Getting people used to that is something. Because you don't want to go to a meeting. You could be the smartest dude in the world. You could be the smartest woman in the world, whatever. If you don't know how to speak to people, they don't even want to hear what you got to say.
So with that being said, I totally agree. It is very hard to get the people to buy into the vision and to see it. But and then also in that same token, another issue that a person may have as you're establishing your organization, whether you decide you want to be an investment, or whatever the business may be, I've noticed that you're going to stumble upon that jealousy. Okay, they don't see you as a representation of them. They see you as trying to be the head. So let me take you out. Let me see how I can come in and take over. So in those kind of situations, which I'm sure you've experienced probably multiple times, what advice would you have for people whom are trying to have that type of structure? Whereas like for me, I would say, okay, well, I deal with a lot of families, right? And families, and you talk to different family members. This one may buy a piece of property, that one may buy a piece of property, so on and so forth. So then me being me, I'm like, wait, why don't you guys pull your resources together, become an LLC, and start purchasing multiple properties, start pooling your money, right? But even amongst family, they're like, no, because I don't want this person to be in charge, or, I don't want that person to be in charge. Or let's say, for example, with Stedman, he has a show, and then he may have different people come on, and they're like, okay, now I want to be the boss. I want to take over his position. So how do you deal with those types of situations? Or how have you dealt with those?
Who's the most knowledgeable on that subject matter? That's who you go with, right? So when I went in on an investment on an app, a dating app, right? So that's not me. As you can see, I'm on my cell phone now. That technological, that's not me. Call somebody, translate, that's not me. The monetary, watching out how those find, that's me. I could do that. So they had to take the lead. No matter what you do, you have to go with, first of all, the basis of the person you want to deal with. I recommend don't deal with family. That's just That's just what I'm gonna tell you. Don't deal with family unless they got as much as you to put on the thing on the table. There's nothing to talk about. My wife, your husband, who you're dating is not necessarily who you want to be in business with 20 years from now, right? But
You
when
fired.
you're married, it should be a little different, right? Because that's your partner. That's why you sign a contract. It's just like an LLC, right, Mr. McDowell? Don't cry, don't cry. Sorry.
Keep
So,
preaching, bro.
Keep reaching. Keep reaching.
so with that said, you just, I think you should put who got. It goes by who's the most knowledgeable, and they should have a certain amount of money. So if you're the most knowledgeable and you're spearheading this, you should be 51% owner of it, and you should have 51% of it. Whether you got to borrow or pull from resources from someone, that's what you got to do, because that's is your idea. An idea and having something complete is a totally different thing, right? Everybody has ideas. People that are buried in the cemetery, you want to feel, go to the cemetery and read the dates, and you'll start realizing how short life is. So it's a simple thing. Whoever has an idea, that's great. But what are you willing to do to get your idea out there? How many of you know people that have great ideas? When it comes to putting in the work, they don't put in the work. Ideas are a dime a dozen. Dime a dozen. Post it. A little piece of paper that has a sticky thing on the back that everybody needed the whole time. Right? Anybody could have did it. Somebody actually put in the work, figured out where to get it done and all that stuff. And now posted is what? It's huge. We don't know how we do it without post-its. The cell phone, all that stuff. Yo, I want to make a call on a phone. I saw Star Trek and I want to do that. They put in
Right.
the work.
Right. Right. Star Trek. Right. Right. I think I just
Simple.
told
Because everybody
everybody.
looks for the big picture. Just look for the simplest thing. One widget, one little thing that could put a lot of money in your pockets, worth everything.
And see, that's what I try to do. I try to. I feel like my niche is bringing people that one thing. That one thing that connects the whole real estate piece for them. Like that one little thing. Oh, okay, you don't have any money? Let me show you how you can do this without money, or you can use someone else's money. Oh, you don't, understand how this program works? Okay, well, let me show you. Let me give you that one little piece. Because I always talk about, for me and being a real estate agent, it really disgusted me how agents would always tell people to come back once they were approved, but never would tell them how to get approved. And to me, that did not make any sense business wise, because if I teach you how to become approved and you get pre-approved, then you're going to come to me, and I'm going to constantly have people in my pipeline, and I'm going to constantly have business. Um, but I never understood why more people didn't see that. And the same thing is like, I would translate it to Stedman and Rod, and they're both in entertainment, but on two different types. So Stedman sees people's ability to have the Oprah effect, right? The journalistic aspect of it. And so he brings those people to the table. And as far as Rod, he's he's a musical visionary, right? But he also, which is a quiet kept little thing, he's very well versed in stocks and things of that nature, right? Like, so that's things that they also, when they're bringing someone in, they're teaching them that as well. I know I just put your business out there on the street, but more people need to know. And that way, the more people who know, you can help more people. But anywho, but and the thing that I really like altogether about this panel is that you passing us up every day, but we're all stars and gems.
That's how you put that.
Right? So even him who's getting fired. So husband, you're fired. And
I
he
want
said,
half though.
I'm keeping you.
Okay.
I'm keeping you.
Ain't really good.
And since you know family, Rod.
Mm-hmm. Nope. Nope.
How you
ain't
can't
getting rid
fire
of you,
people.
cuz.
I was firing you too. How you can't fire people?
You can
How you
fire
can't
people.
fire people?
With
So,
Someone
family?
ain't doing the job.
so, Stedman, you've been awful quiet.
Oh,
Speak now, forever hold your peace.
yes, how may I help you?
You got jokes. I'm saying, do you have any questions or any feedback on anything that we've discussed, either you or you?
I mean, he just dropped a whole gem in my lap, so my mind is blown into just really manifesting what he just said into reality.
You have anything you want to say?
I'm waiting for him to come back to town. We need to sit down together, break bread.
He my friend.
Do what?
Nothing.
That's what I said about my kinfolk, Rod.
He said you do,
Right.
cuz. He said you do. But yeah, spinning off what you were just saying, Tasha, like not only being able to see people, but when you were speaking earlier, you were talking about how you got to show them, I guess, the monetary of it. You got to show them, you got to make them believe because they can't really see the vision. It's more of a tug of war, I guess, between having to do the work, but then also having to make people believe in the work, even though that it's not even at its finished product. It's not at its finished state. And
Right.
so that's really the hurdle. I mean, I know with me, that's really the hurdle. It's you have to blend the two because trying to do too much, you kind of feel overwhelmed sometimes
Mhm.
because you're trying to tell someone a vision that isn't fully complete yet. And so it's kind of hard to get people to believe or buy into that. So,
We couldn't hear you, Ivory.
Gap. You hear me now?
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
We hear you.
Right, now I can't hear you guys hardly, but to bridge that gap is the hardest thing, especially when you see people that everything with them is a tangible thing, right? They got to
Mm-hmm.
touch it, taste it, feel it. So to tell them to think about it is something else. You know, like I got friends. Listen, I got friends to this day that live in the hood, and to talk to them, it has to be tangible.
Yeah.
You better have something to say within 10 seconds, or you lost their train of thought because they already think about something else.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you got friends in those areas, most people, like when I show up, they don't know how to take me because I'm very mixed. My family's very blended, and to put on top of that, because I'm Caucasian and Hispanic, right? So I'm half Caribbean. My daughters are 75% Caribbean because their mother's Jamaican, right? At the end of the day, what they are is, and what I tell people is, we're a mix, bro. So when people, like I have a lot of Hispanic family members, and I don't want to get into that, but some of them don't understand what we're made of. So I explain to them what we're made of, and why I have certain features and certain looks with sunken eyes and stuff like that. And that's something to get into for another day. But to bridge that gap and make people understand what you want to do, and buy-in, getting the buy-in is something else. But the monetary, let me tell you something. I don't care if you're selling stocks on Wall Street or you peddling, I don't know, ices in the street. Once they see some money come back their way, they let you babysit their kids, take care of their house. Well, they don't care. But getting that initial, you want to make sure everything goes right. And once everything goes right, that's it. What I would tell anybody, if you want to start out in anything, build on yourself first. Everybody worries about getting the cars, getting this, getting that. I don't drive
Wait.
a Bentley. I don't have a Bentley. I probably could buy a Bentley tomorrow. For what? I don't know where's the shop to take that thing. Where I live, I'm going to get pulled over every now and then. I don't have time. I don't like that contact. I drive a Nissan pickup and a Jeep Wrangler. And that's it. And my wife got an Acura RDX that she wants something upgraded. I said, good luck. But it's a gorgeous car.
You trying to talk?
I was just waiting.
Oh, go ahead, talk. What you say?
I just
But
want
when
to
you have a
dig.
write-off, Ms. McDowell,
Yes.
when you have a write-off and it's over
Mm-hmm.
6,500 pounds,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
it say Land Rover,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
you could do it because it's a business expense.
Uh-huh.
Remember that it's
Right.
a business expense.
Right. It is.
Okay. I'm going back to what Rod was saying. Yeah. I didn't hear nothing about the business expense, Range Rover, none of that. But something that I know that I see in people nowadays is a lot of people have the microwave mentality.
Mm-hmm.
True.
They want to see immediate results. That to get across to people that you're dealing with that this is not a sprint, but it's a marathon. That's where I see some of the biggest issues with the mentality of the generations nowadays. Nobody wants to be in it for the long run or the long haul. They want immediate results. And you have some mentalities that if there is an immediate result, they don't see past that. They don't invest past that. If you invest something and you prosper from it, my chain of thought is you reinvest
Right.
what you just
Obtained.
obtained,
Right.
what you just profited. You reinvest that,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
not go out and spend it
Mm-hmm.
because you start. It's just you starting right back over. You're never progressing.
Mm-hmm.
You're just making a circle. Progressing.
I knew
We
what you
get your
meant,
point.
Carl.
Right. We
Tomato,
get your point.
tomato.
I knew what you
We,
meant, Carl.
right. But that's absolutely true. Especially, when it comes to you want better for yourself. You come from the struggle chain, for lack of a better term, you stop eating bologna and taste a hen of steak, you don't want to go back to bologna no more. So it's a different privilege to have. But every now and then you still want to go fix that bologna sandwich because that's just the way you built.
I got a
Well,
taste for bologna
it's
now.
called it's called instant gratification. Like I give you the simplest that everybody here, no matter what, you're gonna understand. Exotic dances. Exotic dances can make moderate from 500, 250 to 1,000 a night. I'm just saying from my experience when I used to be a bouncer. Um, and they broke the next day they come back in. They
They're
broke.
living outside their means.
Some of it is they didn't catch up on their bills before that night. They owe everybody. They go home, and everybody, unfortunately, tries to attach to you for your money, for the monetary. So, mommy, that's your mom, and you used to babysit and whatever. Now, mommy said, no, it costs you $300 to leave little Johnny with me now, a
Right.
night.
Right. Right.
So, stuff like that. You got to be willing to get out that cycle. But most people do want, Miss McDowell, that instant gratification. And it don't work. Everybody comes into, somebody comes to work for you, and they tell you, I want to work for you and I'll do whatever you want. And they're skilled and they're talented, but they just got out of college, right? And they'll be like, I want to work for you. I need to make at least 150,000 because I'm in debt up to my eyebrows. I'm going to be paying back 125,000 because I went to Harvard, and then I had to get a class to learn how to use the computers properly to make sure I know how to run an Excel spreadsheet and blah blah blah. And listen, just for me to survive here, I need to make at least 150,000. You're looking at them like unproven. You don't know what they could do whatever you need them to do, but they don't. Nobody wants to start in the mailroom no more. Everybody wants to be a CEO today. How do you deal with that? I deal with it with my kids. Hey, Dad. When they used to be like, hey, Dad, can I have like $5? I want to get something. Hey, Dad, I'm hungry. Can I have 25, $50? You say some expletives. That's what I do, and you hang up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, figure out how hungry they really
are. Right. Say it again. You hang up to do what? Why do you hang up on them?
So they can figure it out. They gotta figure it out. You can't hand everybody everything once they get to a certain age.
And that's, in my opinion, in watching the younger people in my life, they don't know how to figure it out. I feel like, and myself included, I'm very guilty of this. In an effort to not have my child or my nephew or my nieces not suffer or have it as hard as I had it, I tend to give or try to, have that, to copy the phrase with Steve Harvey, try to be Disney, right? And when I'm being Disney, I'm actually handicapping them.
You're a neighbor.
We can't go with handicap?
No.
That's what happens in trying to rescue them. Is that me? Do y'all hear that noise?
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Somebody eating chips or something.
Who got corn chips? No? Okay. So, but I find myself enabling them when I do that.
Good word.
So, Statman, are you eating? Who around here? Who did it?
You're wrong. Why you hit him up like that? That's not right. You ask him if he eating just because he hiding behind the microphone for a second. That's so wrong.
It wasn't me, but whoever
I don't know if y'all
like
noticed, I'm a pound or two overweight, so say some. It might have been me, and y'all don't see. I mean, I'm having a little drink. That's about it.
Might have used some pork rinds or something, and they killing it.
You was eating the pork rinds?
I don't know, but I can hear it because I got headphones on. It's intense.
I hear it.
I don't know what it is.
He came off the camera and everything. He eating that.
Okay, talk fast.
I don't know what that is. Chipmunk.
I don't know what it is either. So how about we do this? How about we'll wrap it up?
Right. Due to technical issues that we don't know.
Technical issues. It was an amazing conversation. It's really.
That's you.
That's not a bologna sandwich, Dave.
It must be on toast.
Well,
when is it coming?
You'll be back in October for the birth of the baby, right?
I might be there right before because you can't really schedule a baby. So I might be there right before, two people I got to deal with down there while my cameras ain't up in surveillance system.
Okay. So now who fixed it?
Huh?
It stopped. I don't know. But okay, so okay. So we will. I'm done. All right, Statman, close us out because obviously I cannot talk.
We apologize for the inconvenience of this massive pork rind session that's going on, but we enjoyed the show.
To close this out.
Right. It's a great show. We'll be back soon. We gotta go.
Be safe, everyone.